Hey everybody, it is Kevin Bjorkland, and this is part 2 of the Formula for Confidence, and so we're going to dive right in. If you didn't watch part 1, definitely go and watch that because I kind of give a backstory to this Formula for Confidence that Napoleon Hill wrote as a script that people are to read and auto-suggest to themselves. And so it has 5 parts, and we're breaking down each one of those parts and understanding the background and the reason why he said what he said. And so part 1, go and watch that video. In part 2, we're going to be talking about the second part, and I'm going to read that, and then we're going to talk about and kind of diagram what's going on in the mind and why it's so important to developing confidence, so that we can achieve all that we want to achieve and achieve and go get our goals. You know, the group, community of clients that I have is goal getters. And so being a part of the goal getter community is this radical responsibility for the results that we're getting in life. And it comes through this confidence, but confidence comes through understanding what's going on in the mind. And so that's really what we hone in on. And so I'm going to read part 2, and then we're going to dive into it. So it says, the dominating thoughts of my mind. Again, this is a script that you read to yourself. And so this is the part 2 of that script. The dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person that I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture. This is loaded with the need for understanding what he's actually saying. And I could probably break this into a couple of videos, but I'm going to try to do this and condense it into just a little bit. So what he's saying is the dominating thoughts of my mind, those are the thoughts that are repeated every single day. This is the pattern of thinking that you currently have. And so to understand this, I'm going to diagram the mind. Real quick, I'm going to say this, but thoughts are things. Most people, it's like they live exclusively through their senses, and they think that just because they can see it, that's reality. They don't understand that thoughts are actually things, and the dominating thoughts of people's mind is what produces in their life. And so many people, it's this backwards reality of I think based on what I see, instead of realizing that actually what I'm seeing is a byproduct of what I'm thinking. And the dominating thoughts of my life are actually being produced in my life and in my environment. And that is why I'm seeing what I'm seeing, is because of my dominating thoughts. But that sounds not real, and so we have to understand what's going on, which is why we diagram the mind. Most people don't understand what the mind looks like. In fact, the mind exists in our entire body, in every cell of our body. Most people think of the brain, but the brain is not the mind. The mind is movement, it's activity in our body. And so in order to diagram what the mind is, a scientist named Thurman Fleet drew this picture, and I have an entire training on this, and I highly recommend that you get it. I will put the training in the description of this video. But this is a picture of the mind, and then this is the body. And so the mind has 2 parts, the conscious and the subconscious. And this is what we would say is the thinking mind. This is thinking, and this is feeling. And the feeling mind is where we have what are called paradigms. Okay, this is another way that I like to say this is, it's like a mental program. It is a program that is coded, it is hardwired into your subconscious through the byproduct of all of your life. And obviously you came from your parents, and so part of this is passed down, part of this is coming from your environment, and it's really the byproduct, it's coding of all of your thoughts that you have internalized and created beliefs. And so that is it's your subconscious, it is your mental program. And what he's saying is the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves into outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. So what he's saying is the things that you hold in your mind right here, let's just say this is thoughts, that's actually going to represent itself in your results in the physical world. Okay, but there's really 4 parts here. We've got our thinking mind, our feeling mind, our actions right here, and then that is the results. And what he's saying here is the dominating thoughts of my mind are eventually going to reproduce themselves in outward physical action and then eventually be represented in my results. And so you can think about your life right now and how that is true. The things that you think about your life, whether it's finances, relationships, all of this stuff, it is starting in your thoughts. It's not starting out here, it starts here and it becomes your results. And so he says, therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person that I intend to become. And the reason this is important is if you think only on the person that you currently are, it just creates a cycle of the same thing. If you think about these results, if you let your results and about who you are, your self-image, that is physically represented, if you let that control your thoughts, then your thoughts control the way you feel, your feelings control your actions produce the same results. And so what he's saying is, I'm actually going to disconnect my results from my thinking, and now I'm going to allow the power of my mind to create new thoughts about myself. And it's important to know if we're not living by our senses, we have to be living by something, and that something is our mental muscles. And those mental muscles are the imagination, I'm just going to abbreviate, your intuition. This is your ability to see. This is your ability to hear and receive, not from your senses, but in a spiritual sense. Your reason, your perception, your memory, and your will. And so what we're talking about in this part 2 is your imagination and your will. What he's saying is, I'm going to spend 30 minutes daily thinking about the person that I intend to become. So this isn't the person that you are today, but this is the person that you would desire to be. And so it's really important to understand that the imagination can create any picture. Most people are conditioned with a negative paradigm, and so it controls the thinking, but the thinking, the imagination, tends to be negative imaginations, or imaginations that a person doesn't believe can be true. And so the whole point of this exercise of focusing on the person that you intend to become, that you want to become, is conditioning your mind. And so you need the will for that. The will is your ability to fix your attention, the attention of your mind, on a specific picture that your mind is creating. And so it takes discipline to use your imagination to think positive about the person that you want to become. And again, this is why understanding this is so important, because most people feel like they are stuck. Like, this is just the way I am. This is just the way I'm wired. That is not true. Anybody can change themselves, but it has to start in the mind. And so it requires discipline to create a picture of yourself the way you want to be, and fix your attention and see yourself and feel yourself as that person, as if you already became that person. That's what this is all about. It's not a wishful thinking. It's taking your imagination, it's bringing you to that place of being that person and feeling the sensation of living life from that point. Let's say maybe there's somebody, maybe this is you, and you just for some reason fly off the handle when somebody says something, about you or about life, or there's this like reaction that you have that you don't like. You do not like that reaction. And you want to change that. So it starts with you thinking about yourself, using your imagination to see yourself in those situations, acting in a calm, cool, collected manner, that when people say these things, you see yourself responding the way that you would want to respond. Again, that's using your imagination. And you fix your mind on that thought, so much so that you can actually feel how good it feels to live as that person. And the more that you do that, the more you're pushing this image of yourself, this positive image, into your subconscious, and you're actually rewiring your mental program to respond in the future in that way, because you've already done that now in the present sense. And so when that thought, now that positive thought, is wired in your conditional mind, it actually transforms itself into your actions, and it produces the results in your life. And this applies to everything. What you want to be worth financially. And obviously that comes through your contributions. And so I won't get into definitely go and get the training that I have, because I talk about these 6 mental muscles and how they integrate with each other to really live a life that is just beyond the imagination. It's so amazing. And so, but it requires you to understand how the mind is working. And so what he's saying is, those dominating thoughts in my mind are eventually going to reproduce themselves. If they're bad thoughts, they're going to produce bad results. If they're good thoughts, they're going to produce good results. And so those dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. And so therefore, because I understand this, I concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person that I intend to become. This is work. This requires work. That's why he said it's a task. This actually takes effort. Most people won't do this because it is actually hard work. Thinking of something that doesn't exist and internalizing it as if that is reality is work. And so thinking of the person that I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind, and here is the key, a clear mental picture. So when this is clear, remember that we talked about clarity in part 1. When this is a clear mental picture, let's call it a CMP, and you can fix your attention on that thought, it begins to rewire your subconscious mind. And this is that clear mental picture of what you want. A lot of people have clear mental pictures of what they don't want, but they don't have clear mental pictures of what they do want. So we want to use the imagination for good, not for bad. And so we do that by creating a clear mental picture of what you want, who you want to be, and you fix your attention on that, and you become emotionally involved or emotionally stirred in a positive way by that. And that rewires your subconscious mind, and that actually controls your actions. And when you do that, it actually changes your life. And so this was part 2 of developing confidence. Part of the confidence that is coming from understanding the second part is how the mind is actually producing your reality. You don't think what you think because life is the way it is. Your thought life is conditioning your world around you and the way that you see the world. And so understanding, gaining confidence in like, oh wow, my thoughts are controlling my feelings, the way I feel. And when I feel bad, I'm actually fixing my mind on negative thoughts, and that's why I'm feeling negative. And that actually causes me to act in a limited way, and it produces results that I don't desire. But understanding this and understanding that you are in control of your thoughts, and that thoughts are things and they become manifested in your reality as you fix your attention on them, become emotionally connected to them, and then act based on your mental programming, otherwise known as paradigm or mental program, it will shape your life. And so just understanding this gives you confidence. Wow, I can change my life by changing my thinking, because this is how it works. And as I fix my attention on positive thoughts, I'm going to feel positive, and that positive feeling is actually going to cause me to act in the way of my belief, and that'll produce the results that I want. So I'm going to disconnect. Again, the biggest thing from this is understanding, this is where confidence comes from, that you can disconnect your current results or your past results from who you are, and understand that you can create a new picture of who you are, and you can live from that despite what you're currently seeing in your life. And that will bring you confidence. So again, this is part 2 of a 5-part series on the formula for confidence. And so I want you to go back, watch part 1, watch this one again, subscribe to this channel, Mindset Mastery, also known as goal getters. People who watch this channel are goal getters. They're people who are ambitious, hungry to grow, motivated to work, positive about progress. You want more out of life. You're not satisfied. You're happy, you're grateful, but you're not satisfied. If that's you, then subscribe, because this channel is for you. And then be looking for part 3. And then the last thing is go and download the Goal Card app. The Goal Card app, you can find it on the Apple Store, Google Play Store, and it's got all of this. It's got a place for you to put your goal. It's got a place for you to write your self-image like we're talking about right here. And the app actually reminds you, hey, go and look at your goal, look at your self-image, auto-suggest it to yourself, visualize yourself as that person, and then it's got the self-confidence formula, which I'm reading right now in each one of these parts as a 3rd card that you can go and read through and then sign or click the button that you did it, and it keeps track of the days that you've done this. And so the more days that you stack up focusing on your goal, the faster you're going to achieve your goal, the faster you're going to achieve the self-image. And it's going to bring you the confidence that you need to go out and achieve those goals that you're setting for yourself. So thank you for watching this video. Be looking for part 3. And if you didn't get to watch part 1, go to part 1. And then in the description below, I will put that free training where I dive deeper into this, talking about different universal laws and how they apply to attracting to us the things that we desire, so that we can live the life that we want to live. All right, thank you so much. I'll see you in part 3 of the Formula for Confidence.